Addition of membership.
Okay, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. My guest this morning is Dr. Jide Johnson. It's been quite a while. Great to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Uncle Yori, and I was so glad to hear yesterday that you took the vaccine yesterday and you are up and doing.
Yes.
I took mine on Monday and it's
okay.
And here we are. Both of us are vaccinated, and it should be
both of us have taken the jab.
But it should be encouragement for people to go and take it.
Indeed, but it wasn't without incident, and because they had warned us that look, there will be, what are those things?
Side effects.
There will be side effects, and here I am. I'm good, but I tell you, when nightfall hit, there was a chill. There was this chill. It was a deep chill, and then a slight headache. But one had expected it. One kept up with the analgesics, and but no pain at the site. Now, what was your experience?
I just had some little itches all over my body. That was the side effect for me. And,
okay.
No matter how, you always have one or two side effects, and we have one cause, and it could be headache, it could be feverish cold, or slight itches and stuff like that. It's something coming into your body, and then your body will then naturally react. But it's advisable that everybody should have this jab on their. You took yours on Tuesday, I took mine on Monday, and here we are on Wednesday.
And here we are both together on Wednesday. There are, everybody has their right. There are the naysayers, but we have a situation here where, look, we don't even have as many of the vaccines as those who want to actually receive them. The hope is that we shall also join the Committee of Nations where we're inoculating most of our citizens who want to be vaccinated.
I think by the end of this year, globally we will reach
that herd immunity thing they talk about.
Exactly. I think by the end of this year, and the misconception that people had concerning it, I think with you taking it, with me taking it, with others taking it, over time,
with me taking it, with you taking it.
Yeah, President has taken it. President and then you saw the
Vice President Shubaju has taken it. Everybody, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but everybody taking it now. There are people that were not favorably disposed towards taking the vaccine.
Yes,
but they've seen you taking it, and as a result of that, their impression concerning
they might want to.
Yeah, they've developed a positive attitude towards it.
Maybe
it's an encouragement for everyone to take it. We all need to protect ourselves and to protect others.
Maybe. Yeah, but I shouldn't say maybe. I should say yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
But people have their own opinions. So it must be a persuasive effort, I imagine.
Yeah, that's the area that government needs to come in.
I got the jab, Jide got the jab. We both had our symptoms, but here we are. I was reporting yesterday that I got the jab, just about an hour before I came on air yesterday, and it took till nightfall before the chills hit, and that's not out of the ordinary at all. But now that we are good, we're healthy and all of that, we can look at things that would need, indeed, good health. Talking about the whole APC ruling party revalidation of its membership register, revalidation and update. Now, of course, people are moving towards 2023, in their planning and all of that. And all of this is supposed to be what? All of this is supposed to be done by the time of the APC convention, which is scheduled for June?
Yes, because the party needs to do that in moving forward. Before the convention, you must validate your membership and update the membership so that you can remove the name of those that are deceased and those that are intending to join, those that have come up age 18 years and above. If you're 18 years and above, you can join a political party because you can be voted and be voted for. You have the right to be a member of a political party. That must be done before the convention. And this exercise started in February. It was extended to March 31st. So by March 31st, the revalidation and membership update will come to an end, which invariably any party must be serious in doing, because one of the ways in winning an election is for you to build your base. Once you have the base, let's say, for example, a party has like 30 million Nigerians registered member. That's 30 million sure votes for that party before going to polls. Are you getting my point? Every election is based on how you're able to mobilize your base to come out for the election. And I'm sure APC is doing that in its move towards securing and winning election in 2023.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of politicking going on. As you will recall, someone from the APC had said that the APC needs what? How many terms? It needs
8 terms. Yeah, I think it needs 8 terms. 32 years to.
Yeah,
32 years to.
It needs 8 terms to be able to do what Nigeria deserves. The PDP was not having it. The PDP has responded, was not having it.
That's another issue, because actually if you look at the structure of Nigerian political system, there are no parties. And by the time we get to 2022, you see people cross-carpeting from one party to the other. And by the time we start the primaries towards the tail end of 2022, you see that people will move from one party to the other. So,
but for the moment, what do you think? Because they are announcing, well, reading newspaper reports, that they've been surprised, and pleasantly so. They first of all had modest aspirations, but then we begin to hear that they've been surprised by the enthusiasm, as they put it, of people to want to join the party and to want to register. I think they said they have an objective about what, 30 million extra?
Yeah, but the party should not be carried away with that enthusiasm. I remember PDP did something of this nature, and they said there are 60 million Nigerians as registered member, and then the national chairman of the PDP then said that they are going to rule Nigeria for 60 years. Nah. The same trend, which the APC also said that they needed eight terms for them to do.
But that's political talk.
It's political. It's just talk.
Political.
I think what helps a party to win election is beyond your membership drive. It talks about your organization of the party, how you organize your primary, how transparent it is, how you shop for political candidates. For example, in 2013, 2014, APC went and looked for Muhammad Buhari, and they talked about Buhari having this 12 million base vote that he always goes with him, that with that 12 million base vote, if you are able to add to it, these are how elections are won. Elections are not won on the fact that, okay, we have this number of membership, we have this, there are a lot of factors you must take into consideration. The party registration, the validation of the membership, strengthening your membership, doing your national convention, ensuring that you have elected officials at various levels, and then you shop for credible candidates. So credible candidates that can win you election. So in 1999, PDP went to bring Obasanjo. In 2014, APC went and brought Buhari back. So these are factors that helps for you to win national election. How did the Democratic Party won the election in 1997? They went and shot for a candidate and said, okay, this is the candidate. Let's all rally around this particular candidate to win the election. So these are factors that help political parties in winning election, and I hope that the party can stick with the timetable, and I hope that with the timetable, because it's scheduled that by June, July there will be national convention, and before the national convention,
that is if it isn't postponed. There are funny noises towards that.
Before the national convention, you must have the world congresses. You must have congresses at the world level, at the state level, and then at the geopolitical zones, and then at the national level. I think all of that must be done, because 2021 is gone already. 2022 is the year for primaries. 2022 is the year for primaries. Now, the party should not be doing convention and congresses in 2022. Everything that relates to congresses, convention should be sorted out before the end of this 2021. Otherwise, the party will move from one crisis to another when the primaries is mixed together with the congresses and the convention for party officials.
As to the whole matter, because you said quite a number of things, including shopping for a candidate.
Yes, because
is that? Do you think that is largely known now, as it were, within the internal meetings? Do you think there's a sort of a consensus, or is it still very much up in the air?
Until the national convention is held, and
yeah, but leading up to the national convention,
you see, the most
Because people are going to have to arrive with
the
a
most
plan of action.
interesting aspect of politics happens within the party. That's when you have various caucuses trying to take control of the structure of the party. And there are various interests working. So when the national leadership emerges, when the leadership at the state level emerges, when the leadership at the local government emerges, and at the world level, it will show you the trend. It will show you the caucuses that are in charge of the party. It will show you. That will give you a direction, the likelihood of where the candidates are going to come from. You know,
where the
candidates are going to come from. It gives that until the national convention, the coast is not clear.
Good morning, Kesandu in Imo.
Yes, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Jide.
Good morning.
My name is Ken Kesandu Kingsley, and I call you from Itubo in Imo State. You see, I am so worried. I think the person who made that statement that politicians think about next election while leaders think about next generation is very correct. I think wherever he is today, may so rest in peace if he's dead, because he actually spoke the minds of many of us. You see, the truth about it is that I think the modus operandi of APC should get every single Nigerian worried. If you come to Imo State in Itubo, my local government where I come from, people do not want to revalidate. People do not want to register. If you go to where they're doing this thing, it is as good as the officials are there alone, simply because the party has not lived up to its responsibility. I think the major problem that should be facing the APC today, and Mr. President in particular, is how do we make Nigerians feel better? How do we live up to the expectations, the promises we made Nigerians? Because going by more than 6 years, the promises we've made Nigerians, we've not reached up to 40% or 30% of them. And we're talking about how to bring people. Who is going to join? I think to a very large extent, most Nigerians are no longer comfortable with the modus operandi and the way APC has conducted themselves. If you go to the various states, you see that their governors are not doing well. Some of them are not paying salaries. Is this what the APC mandate says or their manifesto says? And you see, it becomes a problem for them. I think to a large extent, the way they shouted about this revalidation thing, they should have gone to a confide in their caucus, tell themselves the truth. Mr. President should come out and tell his people the truth that we've not done well. Nigerians are not happy with us from this look of things. Life has been uncomfortable for people. No matter how you think we've come out of recession, my brother, if you're not a rich man, you cannot buy a cup of garri in Nigeria today. And it becomes a problem. The standard of living in Nigeria is falling vis-a-vis prices of commodities and everything. And it is caused by Mr. President and his party because of the way they have handled our affairs. So I think what they should be talking about now is to make life better for
I want to interrupt now, but thank you very much for contributing what you have just done. You know, Jide, this is very much what, you know, Kesandu has said in there. It's very much in the nature of what was said about the previous administration. You know, so it's like what goes around comes around. This is very, very much, this is the way a lot of people were feeling. Well, now we have a change of ruling party. The complaint continues. So there's some constant, perhaps.
I think what the summary of what Kesandu is saying is that the party needs to put itself in order.
That's what they said about APC, about PDP too now.
Because
remember?
those that should be in charge of governance.
PDP was the clueless party, remember?
Those that should be in charge of governance are in charge of managing the parties. If you look at the composition of the caretaker committee, they are made up of governors. If you look at the composition of the contractor mobilization committee. So what he is saying is that the party should leave politicking for party leaders and governance for elected officials. I agree with him in that when you are mixing, it's the same mistake PDP made. You know, I made that allusion. It was the same mistake PDP made that APC is making now. You see, we should be able, this issue of the convention and what have you should be able to wrap it up within months, and then you focus on governance. For example, the chairman of the caretaker committee is the governor of Ovie State. He's managing the party. He's managing the state. Some of the members are governors of some other state.
They're looking for the best talent among them to help
the
organize
best is when you mix the challenge you have is what was the major mistake PDP made.
Okay.
Let me hold on for the caller.
Okay, Ada in Jos. Good morning, ma'am.
Ada from Jos.
Good morning, Ada. Good morning,
Good morning, Mr. Yori and Mr. Jide.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel sad. I looked at my screen. I saw your topic. APC is talking about convention, talking about 2023 elections, how they will rule for 34 years or whatever. It's really appalling. I'm disappointed. Look at what is happening. The insecurity. I thought that should be in the front burner. Insecurity. I agree with Governor Omo-Agege said that if we don't address this issue of insecurity, we're just sitting on a keg of gunpowder. We don't know what will happen in 2023. It's really disappointing. I don't know where he gets his advisors from. You know that if you used to watch TVC, watch this morning program, watch journalist hangouts, and one or two other popular media, they don't even need advisors. You people have done it all, but they don't want to do that. I don't know whether they feel the way I feel. Some schools are shut down because of insecurity. If you go on the highway, you're kidnapped. A friend of mine, they kidnapped their daughter. Many are unreported. Is it the Benue State one? Why expecting a headline news? Is it because he's a governor?
Okay.
It's really unfortunate. I'll continue to pray for Mr. President. Let God just turn his heart, touch his heart. Let him have everything and think about us. It's really sad. I was for that man. I had confidence in him, but I'm so disappointed. It's really unfortunate.
Thank you, Ada. Thank you very much. Again, emotions will be high because there is a sense in which we take. Is it politics we take seriously in this country, or the issue of governance?
That's what I'm saying.
Or lack thereof.
Because, like the guy said,
Ada. Or the guy before her?
Before Ada. He said that politicians think of the next election, statesmen think of the next generation. You see, the focus is more on the next electoral cycle, where the focus should be on governance. And it's important because in democracy there are structure.
I want to understand you well there. When you talk about that focus being where you say it is, especially as you compared governance and these electoral desires, there's been governance going on. You're not about to deny, are you?
Oh, you see, because when attention, look, there's a particular saying in my local dialect, Ajaki in Ruru, Koshojule Mejipo. A dog cannot police two household. Is it that? So you can't be a governor.
You've got to have focus.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be a governor and at the same time be the chairman of a caretaker. You can't run the party and run the state. And one of the challenges, you see, because that structure of the state.
You think that?
Yeah.
Because Nigerian governors actually, they take that for granted.
Yeah, they take it for granted.
Because they
want to control
the party
machinery.
Leaders.
They want to control the machinery of the party. And that's why governors suffer. That's why governors suffer. For example,
please let me bring in Mr. George and then you continue. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yeri, and good morning to Dr. Johnson.
Yes.
Good morning.
Uncle Yeri, I've been saying from time that the president does not appear to be keen in party administration. There is no presidency that stays aloof from party politics that brought him to power. What I can see from what the APC people are doing is the governors who are in charge of the party instead of the president. The president is supposed to be the leader of the party. And that's what's also happening to governors now. It appears there are some people who were not elected, but they are the ones ruling. The party registration, updating of records and registration is not out of place. But what will be the outcome? What will be the motive? What are they going to do with it? Who is going to emerge as the party leader? If you see the couple that is going on among them right now, they are likely to have issues when it comes to selecting who is the chairman and other members of the leadership of the party. When it's solved, it will be very difficult for them to make a headway in 2023.
Yeah.
And again, like the lady that called pointed out, this shouldn't even be in the forefront, if you ask me, for now. At a time that many people are complaining of security, they are not feeling safe, and there isn't any conspicuous thing that we are seeing that the government is doing in order to keep citizens safe. That is not the time to be telling them about party administration and registration and things like that. I think they should be able to draw up the right priorities that will make the party prosper, not bringing things that are not supposed to be priority at the time and throwing it at the people. That's just my view.
Thank you very much for the view.
What gives the president the platform, the governor the platform, to secure and win election because you run under a party platform? You have flag barrier, that's what they call, that's why they hand over flag, is the party. When the party structure, which is the foundation upon which and the platform which you run for office is not in order, everything will be in disorder. There are roles in democracy, the party system is critical. Now, you see, some of the issues we are raising, these are the issues that the Central Working Committee of the party, the National Caucus of the party, should be bringing the president to the attention of the president. But the situation where that structure is not in place, that structure is defective, you can't have good governance. That's the challenge. That's the challenge which we are having.
You see the structure as defective?
As the structure, because at the national level, there's no structure. You have a caretaker. Can the caretaker be the landlord? Can the caretaker take a decision? Let me just in common sense. Can the caretaker take a decision concerning the house? The owner of the house is the landlord. The landlord can take a far-reaching decision that a caretaker will always be a caretaker. You can fire the caretaker anytime you want to fire the caretaker. Anytime you want to fire the caretaker. So that structure of the party, for it not to be in place, is affecting governance.
Okay.
Because you run under a party platform, the party has its programs, it has its manifestos, it has planned programs of action that they want to do. They will be able to draw attention of Mr. President. These are the things we want to do in this particular party. And once that is not in place, we have this challenge.
Chukwuemeka in Abuja, good morning. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I'm Chukwuemeka calling from Abuja. I would like to make my own contribution as regards to the topic that they are discussing today. For me, I think the APC should try and see how they can resolve the problem they have within. It's very, very key. Bringing party convention and party politics to front burner now, I think is not the right thing, just like the last caller said, because the truth is, so many of us voted for Muhammad Buhari. But as we speak now, many of us are very, very disappointed. So I think what they should do right now is they should see how they can focus on governance, see how they can deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. Why delegating responsibility to other party members to see how they can go about their party convention without bringing it to the front burner on screen and social media? Let them do their thing. It's party something. It has nothing to do with Nigeria. All what we want to see is how Nigeria can move forward from where we are. Look at insecurity. Look at people are complaining prices of foodstuff going high. There are so many government agencies lying fallow. They are not living up to their responsibility in seeing how they can, try and mitigate all these increases and increments here and there. So I think it's high time the president should rise up to the occasion and begin to live up to his responsibility.
Okay, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. It's interesting, these views that we are hearing, because indeed they're out there, and part of what the program is about is, airing all of those views, the varied views that we have. But to listen to some of them, you could get the impression, if you didn't know better, that very little progress is being made, which the ruling party will be the first to challenge. That because you've no doubt heard that, depending on the context in which you are talking, we're in a much better place than we were 5 years ago. Of course, the opposition will howl. They will howl at that notion and say, "What are you talking about?" But then, how to sift the chaff from the grain? Perhaps that's part of the situation now, because politicking, sometimes it will always come to the fore more than the substance. But before you respond, Jide, let me. Ibrahim has called in. Ibrahim is in Kaduna. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Yoru and your guest over there.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling.
Yes, this is the revelation this morning on party politics is quite interesting. You see, politics, politicians, they would never shed away from politics. And they don't have any other job than playing politics. But politics is different from governance. I would like to emphasize on this very particular topic, because this is their policies going to enact is going to be reflect on us, we Nigerians. So we cannot allow it to go in astray. Good and fine. If I would like to speak with all-hearted and sincere, please, politicians, they will leave party politics to politicians, and governors will be left to those who for elected officials. Because they cannot jam together. That is why we are having this problem. See, like what your guys there have analyzed, this is a way for us to go. Like this acting chairman, please, he's not able to handle this thing well. That is why.
Okay. Thank you, Jide. Would you like to comment now?
Yeah, it's important. You see, the membership, like they said, this is what destroys a ship. Does not capsize from the outside. It caves in from the inside. Now, it is the manipulation of the governors in PDP, hijacking the structure that destroys PDP. The same thing is about happening in APC. Look, the moment you mix governance with party politics, you have problems. You have. And that's what, look, one of the members of the caretaker committee, chairman of Women and Youth Mobilization, has declared presidential ambition. Some of the members in that committee have presidential ambition. Now, how do you think they'll put in a structure? Because for you to come into, it's like we are saying that, okay, the president should go, we should have a caretaker committee at the federal level, or the governor should go, we should have a caretaker committee. That is what the elected officials have done to the party structure at the local government level, at the ward level, and at the national level. And that is the problem we have had at the local government level since 1999 to date, because at the local government level, we don't have elected representatives. Governors just appoint caretaker committee. And development does not start from the top. Development starts from the base, from the grassroots. Go across the nation. How many states do we have in Nigeria? Across parties, yeah. Across parties. How many states do we have elected representative in the local government? You can't run anything on the caretaker basis. And that is why the party must ensure that by June, everything that relates to the organization and management of the party is handed over to elected representative of the party at the ward level, at the local government, at the geopolitical zone, and at the national level, and allow politicians to run the party and elected officials to run governors. All of them will go to Abuja. Imagine the governor of Borno living for Abuja. The governor of Osun is a member living for Abuja. The governor of Imo living for Abuja. Then what has happened to governors at the state level? And if this issue is not resolved, like I've told you, Uncle Yori, we will go in to 2022. 2023 is the year of primaries. It's the year of politicking. That's when campaign will start. Internal campaign before we go to external campaign. By December 2021, you will see posters flooding, people declaring their aspiration. And then when that starts, governance suffer. That's the reality.
Okay, one moment, please. Good morning, Bala in Nasarawa. Do we still have you, Bala? I think we lost Bala.
It would have been good to have gotten Bala. We got someone from Abuja, Kaduna, across Nigeria.
Exactly. Maybe he'll even
try again.
He'll probably try again. You seem to be of the view that the way it is going now, and it's across party,
No.
that we've evolved our own system where the governors, our party members, people, yes, our leaders of the party, I think it is your considered view that they are hugging the power, and that is constricting, sort of the health of the political machinery.
If you are presenting, can you present and produce at the same time? Now I'm throwing it. Can you present this program and produce at the same time?
Okay.
And undo the camera.
At the same time.
At the same time. You're only presenting now. Now the governors should face governors. Now when
is that a fair analogy?
It's a fair analogy. People tend to misconstrue this. Oh, the president is not interested in the party. The president should. No, the president wants to focus on governance and allow the party to function. Did you see the president intervene in any primaries? You can't take away from this present president that intervened in a particular. The son-in-law of the president contested for Katsina State gubernatorial election. The person that married the daughter, did the president intervene? Some other people, what would they have done? What would they have done? The last primary in 2019. The president, Just let everybody, if you win the election, you win the election. That is how the party should function, so that you focus on governance. But most of the governors are now concerned. Let me tell you this. The present APC caretaker chairman used to be the national secretary of the party. Used to be the national secretary. He resigned to become the governor of Yobe State. Now, after I left, so his interest is still in the management of the party. We must, for us to move forward, you see, he said for us to do the same thing the same way, in the same manner, and expect to get a different result, is the beginning of insanity. This was the approach that PDP adopted, that did not give them, they had 16 years, they wasted the 16 years. APC is now having close to 8 years. They shouldn't waste it. They shouldn't make the same mistake PDP made. Okay. Allow the structure of the party to evolve. Once the structure of the party evolves, you face governance. It is your scorecard at that governance that you bring to the electorate. See what we have done. Please, we deserve another time. Otherwise, the challenges that PDP faced, APC will face it. Okay. And they should learn from what happened in 2019. Indeed. In 2019, APC lost election. They ought not to have lost, because the issue of the party was not managed. Zamfara State, they didn't present candidate in Rivers State. They won the election in Bayelsa State. They lost the election on the altar of administrative ineptitude and poor party management. They won the election, but the deputy governor had issues, so the governor lost the election on the basis of that. So we should learn from the mistake. It's only a fool that does not learn from his mistake. Okay. And I think the earlier we do that, the better.
I think we're going to have to leave it there. We've taken a first stab at it, and probably we'll keep an eye on going on.
As development unfolds.
Exactly. But I want to thank you very much, Dr. Jide Johnson.
It's a pleasure to be with you, Uncle Yori.
Indeed. Okay, then. So stay with us, please. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And a change of tone and theme, I suppose, because let's look at food security, especially as it relates to, well, depends on where you are. In Lagos, the weather has given us an indication of where it might be. The rainy season, farmers are always happy about that. And I have African farmer Omo-Agege. I wasn't being descriptive. I was mentioning his name. One word, African farmer, and then Omo-Agege. Just so we say that. So good morning, and thank you very much for coming on.
Good morning.
Indeed. So here we are now. The rainy season is here. It brings to mind farmers are going to be, the whole agricultural sector, is probably going to be saying, thank God that weather is on our side.
Okay.
Unlike other areas where they have droughts, that kind of a thing. Now, how does the fact that God is merciful, weather is by and large cooperating, because we hear of climate warming, for now, climate warming and all of that. So I wanted you to, if you will, give us a sort of overview as to what the prospects are for agriculture, especially with weather being on our side. Are the other parameters, are they also working?
Well,
towards food security?
For now, the rains have started, but NIMET gave some predictions. Last year was, almost very accurate, and so we can, based on their predictions and the trends, we can still plan with what NIMET has said, which is in various parts of the country, everybody should not be rejoicing yet. Even in the southwest, where we are, even Lagos. So for now, the rains has come. We're celebrating it. But in terms of the productivity of the rain itself.
Because it will depend on what the rest of the system,
the quantity and how frequent it is something that we need to pay attention to, because climate change, gave us a huge shock last year across the country, and we don't know what it will bring this year. However, farmers need to adopt new techniques, basically new inputs that can withstand drought, needs to be adopted across the country. So that's where I'm not sure that we're ready.
Now, when we talk about farmers here, of course we know, we've heard from people like you and other experts that, look, our hope really is really in large-scale farming. But the artisanal farmer is also very, very much in evidence here. What would be your commentary on that notion of, one, the way out is large-scale farming, of which we have a few examples, your very good self included. But how about the artisanal farmer, people who are farming maybe an acre or less?
So you see, around here, we mix these things up. So when we say, we tend to want to say large-scale farming is better than the small-scale farmer.
Economies of scale.
No. In the history of this country, over 70% since independence has been produced by small-scale farmers till date. So one of the reasons why agric is not working is that we believe we should farm like Europeans. We should farm like Americans, who are years ahead of us. In India, the average family holding is less than 3 plots. And yet, India is still top 10 in 10 products, globally. We are not embracing what we have.
Okay.
Europe and US is running from those commercial farms, running into what we have, smaller farms. However, it has its place. We just need to go mechanized. When we say commercial farming, so I say commercial production is different from commercial farming. We're still having commercial production when you aggregate what all those farmers do. Commercial farming is one person holding like 2,000, 5,000 hectares with equipment currently that we have to import, the tires, import the valve, import everything. So we need Malaysia, Indonesia, all of them developed on small. So we just need to China is fully mechanized for a one-plot farmer. That's where we're missing it.
So I now get very much the point you made about we sometimes are mixing up these terminologies. That mechanized farming is not the same as large-scale farming.
Yes.
Although it could be,
yes.
But the mechanization aspect of it is where you cited those examples of, take the Indian example.
India. And guess what? You see.
But are we as keen on farming as smallholders are in those kind of places? Because there was a time when it used to be a pride, a prideful profession. But now you know what it is. Everybody wants to wear white collar now. Fortunately now, we have quite a lot of youths, especially urban youths, looking into that profession. It's looking more appealing because they are weighing their odds on, like, there's no white collar. Yeah.
The blue collar and white collar is trimming down. There's opportunity here. Our people need to feed.
You know, you're so right, because what you've just said reminds me of videos I've seen of young Nigerians across the sexes, both male and female, with smallholder farms.
Yeah, it's just that designing a system that pays attention to our strengths. We have the numbers, India, China, that are sufficient in agribusiness, focus on their strengths, not what they don't have. So their agriculture is built on small cottage. Even Malaysia, that we talk about them being one of the largest exporters of palm oil, it's also on small scale. So we are not using what we have. We're trying to bring in what.
But organizations like the Institute of Tropical Agriculture, it's been here for ages.
50 years plus.
Yes. I thought they would be concentrating, since they are knowledgeable, scientific farmers, and they really are looking at the ground. It's about tropical agriculture. Haven't they had an impact?
So in terms of developing like seeds and they have too much in the banks, as in their store banks. Too much. When I say too much, I mean too much. Now, do we have governments going there to trying to scale the resources, the innovations they have? The question is, we don't have governments going on a strategic level to say 20 years from now. And also, recently when IITA, unfortunately too, the funding and is dropping, so they are also now opening a commercial section, which I feel they ought to have done like 20, 30 years. Because when you look at their organization vis-a-vis the ones in other developing countries, they have a robust commercial section. However, it's a beautiful thing that they've started, and it's a move in the right direction, because the initial design policy is that we do the research, we focus on research, and we chunk these things out. But we don't have governments who go and pick it up for long term. They would rather pick it up, drop it, and go to Asia and Europe and pick what will not work.
Mr. Joshua, good morning, sir. Inire Walide.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Congratulations. I think I hope I'll be lucky to follow your footsteps to get my own job.
Your own job.
And I'm qualified. And I greet you and your guest. He said one thing, that we should design a system that focuses on our strength. I think that helps me to say everything I want to say from the first dialogue you had to what you are having with him.
Okay.
Designing a system that focuses on our strength. I don't think our leaders, I don't think they are connected to the current happenings in the world. We are in an information age, and we should be able to tap into what is available to us. It seems that people are just disconnected from everything. For me, I'll just let him, the man you are talking to, he's not just talking about agriculture. He talked about Nigeria. I've been looking for Nigerians who can talk for Nigeria, what we can do to be a nation that is in the front of getting things done. We're a nation where we have complaints, and we never get things done. We change parties, we don't change anything.
You're very right.
So I hope we can just develop a system, as he said, that will focus on our strength. That will take us out of the woods. Thank you, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir. Complimenting you there.
Thank you.
You know, but I can relate to what he's saying. But you are in there, and you're not alone. You also have professionals and that kind of a thing. But the critical mass, we haven't reached there yet, because we started this talking about food security, and I don't know that we are anywhere. Give me your comment. You're in the field.
We're not
How
close.
good is our food security?
We're not close. We're not close.
So we're still going to be we're
not
depending.
Close. You see, so there's a false belief that like the North is food secure. There is nowhere in this country that is food secure. Now, what the North, if the South does not buy what the North is producing, the Northern farmers, go into trouble. That in itself is not food security. So we should look at, I can always say, the Northerners need to be processing everything because they do more commercial. Process and sell to other part of the country. While other part of the country need to now take care of their domestic need. Tomatoes in the North is wasting every year. They need to process it into purees and let the other part of the country buy. So while other part of the country produces what they eat for their stew. This is how it's done everywhere else.
Maybe almost like except here, because I remember Obasanjo's Green Revolution back in the day, where people were admonished to have a little farm in your backyard, even if it's a kitchen garden, so that you don't have to buy a wedu, you don't have to buy okra, for example. On that minimalistic scale, do something. But I don't know, the idea didn't catch on. But sorry, is somebody on the line waiting for me? No?
Sorry, I'm still hanging in.
Oh, please go ahead, sir. I'm very sorry. Good morning.
No problem. Thanks, Uncle Yori.
Please
good
go
morning
ahead,
to you. And good morning to, I think it's Mr. Omo-Agege. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Morning,
Mr. Omo-Agege.
Now,
full name, African Farmer Omo-Agege.
Uncle Yori,
Thank you,
I tell you, design is key in anything. You can design on the plot of land and still manage to create a small space for a do okra or whatever. Now, one of the greatest challenge we're facing now is security. Take it or leave it. Okay? Security.
Yeah.
2, you see, there's a whole lot of value chain when you start thinking of food security. You know, it's so unfortunate in the midst of insufficient food, you could still witness mass wastage.
Mass waste.
It's simple. It simply tells you something is wrong with the value chain. There are so much of logistics involved when you're thinking of food security itself. Okay, coming back to mechanization aspect of it.
Yes, very, very briefly, please, sir. Very, very briefly.
I'm telling you, it's just, for me, I think it's going to be a long haul for us to get to a point that we can say, oh, now we're fairly mechanized. Yeah. Okay, we're fairly having a mechanized system. Because look,
I've got to interrupt you now. I'm so sorry. We've completely run out of time. But what you're saying was so interesting that I let it go on for a bit. But I've now completely run out of time. Thank you very, very much for calling. And it also makes me know that we've only taken a bare stab at this. And we have to come back and speak a lot more about it. What is more important than food and its security? So I want to thank you very much, Mr. Omo-Agege. We're going to do this again if you can find the time for us.
I will.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
That's our program then. Please do everything you can to stay safe. You know, mask, wash your hands frequently. Don't go around where there are too many people in a crowd, and generally keep safe. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.